We're back with more of Where You Live here at the Cook Arts Center, where kids are trying all kinds of new things. Right now, they're creating posters. Beautiful work. Dr. Coates is joining us with Helen DeVos Children's Hospital. What's your best advice on getting our kids to try some new things, even though they may not want to?
Well, it's hard, and I think the best thing is to know your child. Some children are hard to get to try new things. They're hard to warm up. Those children need a little bit more tender, loving care. They may need to be introduced to the classroom slowly. They may visiting before they start is good, introducing them to the teacher or a coach or helpers and things like that. Other kids are, you don't need hardly to do anything, and they love to jump in and just take control, and that's about it. You just
what
need
if
to
you have a
guide
kid
them.
though that's just like, they'd be great as a soccer player, but they just don't want to play soccer? How hard do you push?
I think it's individual, and what's hard is sometimes as parents we're going to make mistakes, obviously, and I think we just need to own up for that. If you have a child that really excels at something, that doesn't mean they have to do it. We may have a lot of talents, but we don't necessarily practice all of them at once. And so exposing them, allowing them to say no sometimes is okay. And then sometimes they may need a break and come back to it. Those things are all healthy. There's a lot of kids that are really talented in music but end up being in business. We can have hobbies. We don't have to be, the world's best soccer player or something like that. Or sometimes they just don't want to do it. And I think sometimes the battle becomes worse, and then it's not worth it.
Okay, what about bribes and threats? If you try this, I'll do this. But if you don't do that, I'm taking this away. How does all that work?
Well, as a parent, you just have to do it sometimes. You do resort to bribes and threats, and I think they work to a certain extent. Kids usually outsmart us before we realize it, so they, kind of change what they like or don't like according to what we bribe them with or what we threaten them with. So I think the best is to get them on board, and tell them why. Explain to them why you think it's important, why you think that they would like it, how you see that they're developing, very strong leg muscles, and you see that they're very gifted with their hand-eye coordination or whatever. And explain why you think it's important for you that they experience that. If they're on board with you, then I think the bribes and threats become less. There's always a kid that's tired and doesn't want to go to practice, and sometimes you just have to say, well, afterwards maybe we'll get a slushie or something like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as that's not necessarily a practice. You don't want the child to do it only for the reward. You want them to feel the reward themselves and experience the self-esteem and the goodness they get from just doing something well.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.